Right, so we are live now. 3, 2, 1, I think. Good evening, Kev. How are you?
Hello, Cabbie. I'm good.
Good stuff.
Legs are a bit sore, but I'm here.
we should have a clear camera because obviously I'm now using Zoom and not Discord. I was getting a bit sick of Discord playing up and just bits and bobs and the others. Trish is already in. She says, "Evening, Cabbie, Richie, Kev, and Davey. Hope you're all okay. Welcome to my fellow black cats." And D Hall says, "Good evening." Yeah, Richie is in bed with the flu with his lad mags, so he's just going to be chilling. So then, Kev, I mean, it's all happening in the transfer front, isn't it?
I I don't know if there's anything happened today. I haven't actually checked anything today, but I'm going to presume you're on about Bellingham.
Yep.
I think it's a really good bit of business for Sunderland. I think they've done well holding out for that bit more as well. I think it was the right thing to do. I think it's great. I think it's a great bit of business. He wants to go on. He's done a job for us. Get the money. Get back in the team.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, there was even talks. I was listening on Talk Sport today, and they were saying, would Sunderland take him back on a season-long loan in the Premier League from Borussia Dortmund, or do you think that wouldn't work?
I don't know if they'll do that. I think they've bought him to go into the team. Whether or not he'll play every game like he would for us, I do think they've bought him to go in the team. I don't know. I don't think we'll loan him out. Would I have him back for a loan? Yeah, why not? I think I tell you what I find interesting now is because you kind of know what the model is. They've been really transparent about what it is that they do. They're buying these players young and for little money in the hope of progressing them and selling them on for big profits. And we knew that from day one. So it's not like a big surprise when someone comes in for Bellingham and offers a good chunk of money. The fans, or they shouldn't be all up in arms, and because you kind of expected that. I think we all kind of knew Bellingham would go in the summer. Some might, I know I've read a lot of people sort of saying, I don't know why he didn't have a go in the Premier League for a year, but look, his family's plan maybe don't involve the Premier League. And I think, was it you who said his family kind of conscious about the media attention that you get in the Premier League and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, his family comes across being sort of very private. Do you know what I mean? And I think you're right. I think they're looking after the lads. They're very passionate at what they do, and I think they just want them to follow suit what Job's doing. And at the end of the day, it is their decision, and if they're happy doing it, then good luck to them all. Do you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Would you say Bellingham was our biggest asset? As
no,
in, can you see someone being worth more than what he was? Maybe I mean in monetary value. Do you think there's anyone in our team we could sell for more than what we've just sold Bellingham?
no. I mean, look, Job says he wants to live off his own identity, but whether he likes it or not, that ain't going to happen for a while. The name Bellingham sticks, and I think because of that, that's why we've got the old, the 33 million for him. I mean, his brother does have a lot to do with it. Plus, he's performing well when he was with Sunderland, and he got us to the Premier League, and that's also whapped the price up a bit as well. I think it would have been different if we'd have still been in the Championship, man. I don't think we would have sold him for 33 million quid.
Nah, I think it might have been about 20.
Aye, but no. I mean, as marketing goes, Bellingham's a massive name, isn't it? It's like Man U. It's the name. It doesn't matter how crap your team is or where you are. It's the name, and it's the same with Bellingham. Do you know what I mean? If you see the word Bellingham, 95% of people just go straight away go to his Jude Bellingham. They don't say Job, and that's got a lot to do why we've sold as well for a decent amount.
And I think the deal overall is pretty good for us. 15% sell-on clause. You know, you'd expect them to sell them on for a profit what they've paid us for.
Yeah.
I think we'll end up with a good chunk of money by, maybe 2-3 years down the line. I think we'll be on the move again. I think we'll make another big chunk of money. I think it's perfect. The model, he is the epitome so far of the model working.
I do agree. I'm going to catch up on some of the messages, if that's all right, Kev. John Parr says, hello, lads. Great bit of business by Speakman. Ian Brown here on a different account. Good to see you, John Parr. John Paul, how are you doing, mate? Hope you're well. D Hall, good to see you. Says, get well soon, Richie. Richard's Buses, Trains and Trams says, has he been to Turkey? On about Richie, has Kev been to Turkey?
What do you reckon?
Answers on a postcard, please. Colin Major, good to see you, mate. He says, good evening, lads. He says, Kev, he says, how's your dad? Do you want to answer Colin there? Good friend of Davey?
He's all right. We had a day out at the races. We went to the races on, what is it here? Monday, Friday. So we had a few hours at the races there. He's doing well. He's still fighting on. Looking forward to the season starting.
That's the main thing. That is the main thing. Still fighting on. Good to hear. Maureen Johnson, good to see you. He says, Job leaving was inevitable. Yes, absolutely. He says, but sadly, however, business is business. I totally agree with that. Tricia says, John Park, good evening. Richard Stedman is in the chat. How are you doing, Rich? He says, evening. He says, full-blown man flu. He says, good money for Bellingham, but I still wished he'd give the Prem a shot with us. And it's interesting that, because, I mean, I've seen a lot of Sunderland fans saying, I think it's good business, because a lot of Sunderland fans don't think he's Premier League quality. What do you think about that, Kev?
What was that, sorry? I'm busy reading the chat on the side there.
No, it's fine.
Reading on that side. I was distracted there.
A few Sunderland fans are saying Bellingham is not nowhere near Premier League quality as yet. Do you agree with that? I mean, the current Bellingham would struggle in the Premier League.
I don't think you can put up much of an argument that he is good enough, because we don't know, do we? I do think he would have coped in the Premier League, but I also think his parents know a year in the Premier League at his age might be really detrimental to the long-term plan that they have for him. Because although it's Job's career, I think somebody in the chat just said there that his family dictate a lot of what happens and where they go. And that's fair enough, like how many young players do we see just disappear? They go by the wayside and they go off the rails and things like that. And people always say, they should be a bit more protected or guided or something like that. Bellingham's mum and dad do that. I think it's fantastic. Really, really, it's what's missing in a lot of young players,
Oh, 100%. Absolutely, 100%. John Nesbitt, good to see. Says, evening, Stu, Kev from sunny Gran Canaria. Great business, the Bellingham deal, says Hall. Just want to say, can everybody hear me okay? I'm not sounding distorted on the microphone. Just let us know if I sound actually all right. Yeah, John Parsons feels like Job's family dictate his decisions, but he deserves to go to the top. Andrew Moore says, hello, gents. Bellingham, he says, I'd have liked to have seen him with us next year, but can't be mad at him. This is the next best outcome. David Walker says, a week on Wednesday, the fixtures come out. Newcastle first game away at St James's Park. I'll take that.
There we go,
Tricia says, I'm glad he's doing well as possible. It says, give him my love, Kevin. That's from Tricia.
Will do, Tricia.
Lewis says important to spend the money correctly as well. 30 million is the going rate for a decent Premier League player unless you look abroad. And Colin Mayer just says, telling him, asking about your dad and your mum as well. That's from Colin Major. And Tricia says the sound is fine.
They'll be watching.
But yeah, I mean, every day, I'm always like having a look and stuff, and we're linked with players every day. And you know, there's the odd person, you know, says, "Oh, are you making this up, Cabbie?" and this and that, the other, and it's clickbait, and it's not. It's not. I'm just reading what I'm reporting. And don't forget, this should be the busiest transfer window that you've seen with Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? And so it should be as well with us being in the Premier League.
It's an exciting transfer window because, you know, the leap from the Championship to the Premier League, you kind of know you need better players than what we would have signed last year, for argument's sake. You know, I don't think we'll get any Aaron Connolly's through the door, and you know, so it's exciting to see, and we do get linked with all these players. A lot of them I've never heard of, if I'm totally honest with you. We're not really linked with many, say, 100+ Premier League appearance players.
No.
I don't think, you know, so I think we need to be looking there as well. But, you know, we do need a few good signings, like in a lot of the positions. A lot of them's been defensive links, haven't they? A lot of them's been defensive players.
Oh, hell of a lot, yeah. I mean, we do need it. I mean, there's reports saying Bournemouth want to extend Meffen's contract. So I think that'll be a loss because I think Meffen made a big difference coming on for 09 at Wembley. No disrespect to 09, but I think he's a huge player for Sunderland, Meffen.
I do too. I think it probably's worked in our favour. 09 going off, unfortunately, and Meffen being the centre too with Ballard. I think it probably's worked in favour in that game.
Because Meffen totally bossed Kiefer Moore, without a doubt. And I think 09 would have struggled because obviously he's nowhere near as built as big as Meffen. Yeah. Meffen really controlled it like.
I was surprised. I thought he might come pretty much straight away. I know he has to go back to Bournemouth, I guess. But talk of extending his contract at Bournemouth, and doing that to get a little bit money for him, you know, because he could leave on a free now if he wanted.
The end of the day, that he's a lone player, and they're not doing anything wrong. He's just going back to his parent club, isn't he?
Yeah. I think you might see him still come to Sunderland.
I think there's a good chance of it. David Walker says, think we would be at home first as women's rugby's on the Friday after. 3-star Reds. Good evening, 3-star Reds. And David Walker, he says, evening lads. He says, has Premier League football sunk in yet? Well, me, it hasn't, no. Did not pan out for us. And at the moment, in Conference League, a few weeks, though, it could be Europa League. And Big Davey says, giving the muscles up from D Hall. Tricia says, if your mum and dad are watching, then hello, our Davey. We are all rooting for you with your treatment. Nice one, Tricia. John says, must spend 40 million between Watson and Job, plus the money for going up. Must buy a lot of quality, especially Job and Serkin and Roberts' replacement. Is Serkin gone? Have you heard anything about a Serkin gone? I've not heard anything. Is he? Do you think Serkin will go?
About him going. He isn't the last year of his contract, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So if he doesn't sign a new contract and someone wants to buy him, I think he'll go. He was one of the players I thought might go this summer, to be honest with you.
Maureen Johnson just says, Mags away will be in October due to logistics. Please like and subscribe to you. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, you can't. You kind of gone and panic buy. You kind of gone and just rush in like mad. I mean, it is only June, and I believe the transfer window does it close only for certain teams and then it reopens again. Is this to do with the
I
Club
didn't.
World Cup?
I
Is
was
that
going
how
to
it
ask you.
works?
I was going to ask you. I know the Club World Cup thing's on, and I'm not sure if it closes for all teams. It would be a bit weird if it closed for some and not others. How would you do business with them clubs? I really don't know.
It's a strange one.
Can someone comment what the crack is with the transfer window?
Yeah, if anybody does know. David Walker says Mackem was on Bournemouth's retained lists. Think he did the year extension. So yeah, I mean, if he does stay at Bournemouth, it's out of our hands. He's a Bournemouth player. He always has been. David
No,
Walker.
he might have been told off them, stay and we look to get you 20 games this season. He might have been told the same at Sunderland. Come to Sunderland and get 20 games at Sunderland. Would you rather stay at Bournemouth and get 20 games than at Sunderland? I probably think so as a player.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see. Can you see David Walker's comment there, Kev?
Shuts tomorrow and then reopens on the 16th. So I'm going to presume that's for everyone.
I mean,
All
yeah.
England.
Lewis just said, I think it shuts for everyone. I mean, I don't know anything about this Club World Cup. I mean, the World Cup itself, I know the World Cup goes on for about just over a month. What is the Club World Cup? Do you know much about it, Kev? Is it what is it like exactly? Is it a tournament?
It is. Looking at it, it's a bit like the layout of the World Cup, and it's some of the top teams from the top divisions from all around the world. I'm not sure where it's played at. I want to say South America, but other than that, I'm not 100%.
Is this a yearly thing, or is it every 4 years like the World Cup?
It's a new thing. First time.
How often are they going to have it?
What's that, sorry, Nate?
How often are they going to have it? Every 4 years, 3 years? Is it every year?
No idea.
I'll have to look into it.
I presume every year, but I don't know if they're just tying it in with, like, you know, maybe these teams who are in it will not have friendlies, and it's a bit marketing, isn't it? A lot of teams go away to China and Japan and all over the America and stuff like that, kind of promoting the brand now, don't they, in pre-season?
I'll have to look into it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it like the Champions League? You've got to finish so much higher up in the league to actually get in? I don't know.
There's some kind of teams in it. And when I looked at the teams who were in it and kind of, you know, the leagues that people are in, there'll be some kind of games if there's, let's say, a full-strength squad. There's a lot of South American teams in.
What's going on in the chat? Paul Stratton, Coventry fan. Hello, Paul. Good to see you, mate. He says, "Hi, Cabbie. Hope you are well." He says, "Players are linked with all good for you." He says, "Job, in my opinion," he says, "brilliant business." He says, "When was last time he actually won you a game? Good luck to you, as always. Thanks, and same to you as well, Paul." I mean, he's got a good point there, because a few Sunderland fans have said, "There's how many games did Bellingham actually go missing?" And your dad used to always say this. He says, "You may not see him like, you know, he's not scored many goals, but his hold-up play in the midfield and the way he organises his midfield is second to none." And there's a lot of things you don't see what Bellingham does when you're watching it on the telly to when you actually really at a game. Dave used to always say that.
And he's really not. He's comfortable in the game. And he might get missing a little bit, but predominantly over the course of the season, Sunderland were a better team with him in it, by a long way. He kind of, he is that box-to-box player. He's often at the back defending, getting last-ditch tackles in, breaking the play down with sort of Dan Neil in that area. And then, look, we often see him up the other end of the pitch as well. And he seems to effortlessly get from one box to the other. He's a big lad. He's got strong presence. He will be a miss. But I also kind of think that there's the prospect of, you know, like when Clark went last season, everyone's kind of thinking, how much is that going to affect Sunderland? I actually think it improved Sunderland. All of our players tended to go down Clark, everything. And when Clark was totally took out the picture, we played more as a team. And I'm not going to say we're going to play more as a team because Bellingham isn't there, but it might give someone like Lafayette the opportunity to move inside, and then we have a different dynamic of the team.
Yep, I would say where you're coming from. Colin Major, Tricia says, I would rather Sunderland took their time signings rather than rush in. Of course, it's a big mistake. Yet, Richard, it's close for all teams. Colin Major says, wish the season was already here. He says, I'm missing the football already. I'm missing it, but I'm not missing the anxiety and all that. I'm quite enjoying the calmness on a weekend at the minute. It's nice to have been left on such a high. I mean, you know, if you winning the League One playoff final at Wembley is class, but it's the creme de la creme. If you win in a Championship playoff final to get into the final, that's like Mount Everest. That's the top. That can't be beat. That like for playoffs, obviously you've reached the pinnacle, innit? And we've done it, and it's left everybody on a high. I'm still on a high. And I'm enjoying every single day through this summer because what Sunderland did and how they ended the season last season, I think it's just superb, absolutely superb. You know, like when Sunderland win a game and you think like 2 or 3 days you feel class, and then by the 3rd and 4th day you sort of like that sort of starts to disappear a little bit, and then you start sort of dreading or look forward to the next game. But this is just sticking with you. I still feel the same as what I did on the Saturday when we won.
The way we did it, and I think everyone feels we did deserve it.
You know.
And there's a feel-good factor around the club, an excitement and a feel-good factor, and I think that's different as well. Feels a bit different, you know.
It's mad to think, innit? Bellingham was on the plane literally 24 hours after lifting the Championship playoff final trophy, but he can.
And it shows his professionalism as well. He knew before that game what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at the performance he put in. Look at his passion at the end when we won. You know, what it meant to him that Sunderland got into the Premier League. When all along, he definitely knew he wasn't going to be here, but to reap the rewards, really.
Well, that's a massive thing on his CV, isn't it? What a way to start, really, your football career, being promoted to the Premier League. You know, it's a massive achievement. That to win a Championship playoff final, that's huge. It's one of the richest games in football, and that's on his CV. So he'll be made up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just catching up on some more chat. Yeah, John says the window was just for the World Club Cup. 3 Star Red says first week of transfer window in our first season back. We had signed about 50 players at Forest by now. He says, what's keeping you, lads? And it's worked for Forest as well. I mean, they slipped off a little bit because they were holding the run. I think they won about 6 or 7 wins on the bounce in the Premier League, and they were well in the Champions League positions, and then they tailed off a little bit. But yeah, whatever they're doing fantastic. Tricia says, Colin, I think all of us are getting separation anxiety because of no games. Hey, just keep re-watching the Wembley final and the Coventry City game. It'll just bring, honestly, you just never get sick of that. Paul Stratton says, Tricia, hope you are well. Close season is fascinating. Lewis says, it's basically because FIFA feel left out, not putting on a tournament for 4 years, so they have done this. Just a massive money spinner. So Lewis, is this tournament on every season then? Every close season, are we going to have a Club World Cup, or is it just every 4 years? I think you said, is it every 4 years they're going to be doing that? It's weird. Please.
Some good things in the groups, you know, you've got like FC Porto in a group with Inter Miami.
Mm-hmm.
No, Inter Miami, obviously. What do you call the place from, man? What's it called?
What's that?
Messi. Into Miami. You got Messi.
Oh, yeah.
Good, they're in a group with FC Porto. PSG's in a group with Atletico Madrid and a team from America. Bayern Munich with Benfica and Boca Juniors. LA Football Club are in a league with Chelsea and Flamengo, and I reckon there'll be some kind of good games in it. Dortmund's in it. There you go.
Well, apparently it's been going. I'll catch up when these chats are coming through that quick. Someone said Club World Cup is every year. It's been going for a few years, but I think this is the first time English clubs have joined. Who even televises this? Do you know? Where do you watch it? I don't even know. Is it on Sky or?
Actually, Liverpool won it in 2019. I didn't even think to look at the past. Real Madrid won it last year, 2024, it seems. And then Man City in 2023. So it's been a thing every year, but maybe it's just not as publicised. I don't know.
No, I know. Colin says it's like going through a divorce, Trisha. Not that I've ever even been divorced. 3-star Red says Paul Stratton, Coventry for promotion next season. Just make sure Sheffield United do not get promoted. And let's just even more importantly to Paul Stratton, that Sunderland are playing Coventry in the Premier League next season. I don't want to be playing Coventry in the Championship. And Tricia says, trust me, I miss SCFC far more than my ex. Paul says, if you got 28 million for him, you have mugged Dortmund. He says, your manager can get 2 better players for the money. Tricia says, Colin Major, you are sensible. Terry Arkle, good to see you, mate. He says, Club World Cup is every year. Yep, you're right. 3-star says, any team that beats Derby County and Sheffield United at Wembley in a Championship playoff final gets my vote for promotion. Of course, they're rivals, aren't they? D. Hall says, while Manchester City and Chelsea are the only English clubs participating in the Club World Cup, all Premier League teams will be free to sign players during that period, 1st to the 10th of June. So there's only 2 teams in it, is it? Manchester City and Chelsea are the only.
That's right.
So I wondered, is it a team's decision who joins, or is it a points basis, or what? I'm going to have to read up on it. I really do. D. Hall says the window will then shut before opening on Monday the 16th of June and closing on Monday the September the 1st. So is this the same length of time the window's open from when it's the winter transfer window? About the same, isn't it?
About the same, aye.
Well, I thought it was. Stephen Taylor says it's covered by Channel 5. Good evening, Steve, by the way. It's covered by Channel 5. I didn't even know that, you know. Channel 5 and DAZN.
3 months of the window open.
Does anybody know how many weeks the Club World Cup actually goes on for then? Like I say, I will read up on it. I'll stop asking all the questions. Hello, Dougie Stewart. How you doing? Did you say you wanted to be moderator on this channel, mate? Was it you? I wasn't too sure. Lewis says they opened the transfer window so that the teams can make their big signings to promote the new Club World Cup. He says they want Ronaldo to move to a Club World Cup team. Please like and subscribe and hit the like button if you are new. Thanks very much, Trisha. Sophie Aki. Do you know anybody called Sophie Aki, Kev?
Hello, Sophie.
How are you doing?
She's up there, sunning herself there in Salou. She's joining from Salou in Spain.
You're in Salou. That's one of my favourite places, Salou. I've been about 5 times. We went to Camp in Sangully. It's a lovely place, Sophie. So bring the sun back when you come over. It's Salou's class life.
Pictures of big, massive cocktails and all sorts.
Good job you said tails after that. Oh, it's perfect. There's nothing I can't fault Salou about. Hello, Ollie. Good to see you. It says, hi, Cabbie and Kev. Job would be getting a sin going to BVB. It's only because he's a Bellingham, says Ollie. Kingfisher. Hello, Kingfisher. Says, hey, guys. Paul Stratton says, leave you all to it now. Genuine best wishes for Prem. Please don't waste your money on Henderson. as he wouldn't looked at you if you didn't get promoted another payday. Fairly good point that from Paul, do you think? Do you think we should stay away from Henderson?
Nah, I don't think he'd be a really good signing.
You don't think he'd be a good signing for Sunderland, Henderson?
I do. I do think he'd be. I think he'd be a good asset for us to have for next season. 100%.
It's a funny one. I mean, whether he'd come to Sunderland or not. I mean, there's even rumours now that he could be going to Rangers.
There was rumours there, but it depends where he thinks his career's at. You know, he's just got in the England team there. Is he really thinking it's the end of his career? Is he someone who's going to go on to play until he's 40-year-old? If he thinks he's playing until he's 40-year-old, he may not come back to us now.
No, not at all. I mean, the way I look at it as well is, if he wants guaranteed a trophy, I'll go and join Celtic or something, you know?
Aye, because Rangers not win one for a few years yet. Not the league in any way, I don't think.
Oh no, not at all. But Maureen says Club World Cup. It looks like it's on for a month, the 15th of June till the 15th of July. Yes, please, Cabbie, if that's okay. Let's have a look then, Dougie. There we go. We have now. Wait a minute. We've got Dougie now, who's a moderator. So welcome, Dougie.
What's the role of a moderator?
The role of a moderator is someone who can boot people out the chat and things like that if they're being knobheads. If I'm busy and it's like the chat's flying up, which it usually does, it just means they can kick people out before I get to. Just makes it easier. So I think I've done it right. So if you just type something up on the chat, Dougie, you should have a little spanner next to your name.
You cannot say that.
Sophie says, I hope I do with my lush burn lines.
Unfortunately, me and Sophie both have skin that just goes bright red and then back to white.
John Parr says, Ollie says, I wouldn't mind going in for Mainu from Man U. What do you reckon about that?
I don't know. A lot of Man U players worry me. So I don't really know. I mean, I even seen Mason Mount mentioned. People like that worry me a little bit. I think there's a lot of bad apples at Man United at the minute. Just bad attitudes. And so I think if Man United were willing to get rid of people at the minute, I think it's because of the bad apples. But I don't know. A bit Premier League experience. I think 3 or 4 players with over 100 Premier League appearances is what we need.
John Parr says Hendo will be 35 in a week. I get him as a coach for Rig, Triantris, Neil, etc. But he says that's about it. Tricia says welcome, Dougie, to the Cabbie family. Maureen Johnson, and there's a few people in my taxi have also said, why didn't you go and try and get Diallo back? Why not? You can only say no, can't they?
I think you'd be talking about 60, 70 million fee and about 150 grand a week wages. That's what I think you'd have to pay.
I mean, I would just take in... Oh, there we are, Dougie. I can see you. You've got a nice little spanner next to your name, mate. Yeah, I know. As much as Diallo seems to love Sunderland and all that, but... Look, I think that the longer Sunderland stay in the Premier League, the more of a chance that you're going to have we're getting a player like Amad Diallo. I think we just need to wait and see where Sunderland are going to be. I mean, I know one thing's for sure though. This top three, the three teams that get promoted are the three teams that get relegated. That's got to stop because it's not going to be very interesting in the Premier League, is it? If the bottom three teams are down with 2 months to play, it's like you want a bit of competition. Surely you want a good mixture between the bottom 10, bottom 7, fighting it all out for going down.
If it become a regular thing, right? What would end up happening is the 3 teams that come up from the Championship, they will end up actually spending hardly anything and just bank all that money that they got for getting up and just prepare for the following season in the Championship. That's kind of the situation you would start getting. I really think we'll stay up. I really think we can do I'm looking at the league again. You know, I have a lot of chat with some Geordie friends who I love winding up. It's so easy to wind them up. And I'm like, look, we're 3 years behind Newcastle. You know, Newcastle were mid-table fodder before the last 3 years. You know,
oh,
so
no,
we're only 3 years.
I know.
We'll be in the top 6 in 3 years' time. I bet you £1,000, you know. I bet you £1,000, and I'm like, look, get through the first year. Let us steer in the Premier League, and then within 3 years' time, we'll be up there in the top 6 in the Premiership. That's what I believe. But first year, just steer in the league.
The thing is, let's say the 3 teams that got promoted, us, Leeds and Burnley, were to stay up. Which 3 teams in the Premier League would get relegated? I mean, Tottenham
West Ham,
you went in West Ham,
Wolves, and Burnley. That's who I think will be the 3 who go down.
You reckon Burnley?
I do.
Because a lot of the pundits, like on Talk Sport, like what do you call the owner that used to own Crystal Palace, Simon Jordan. He reckons Burnley will be the favourites because of the fact the way their defence was so solid. And he says he fancies them to be favourites to stay up. But I keep telling you this as well. It's like, look how bad Tottenham and Man United were, and there was still 20-odd points clear of the bottom of the third or bottom team, and that just shows you the calibre, the gap between the bottom 3 and the rest of the Premier League. Because Man United and Spurs were awful, but look how far ahead they were. It's concerning, isn't it? It is concerning. Ahmad is on over 100 grand a week, says David. Dortmund, good to see you. Welcome in. We'll catch up on these chats. Dortmund says, I take Mason Mount. David Walker, yeah. Dortmund says, Man U bought Ahmad before he was good and paid 40 million. There's got to be some return on investment for them. Yeah, Dougie says, I've just started following Mackem Cabbie on TikTok. Yeah, I've just started my TikTok, which has grown pretty good, which is decent. Trisha says...
little dancers and that, are you?
Oh, I'm not going to be bothered with that crap. No way, am I.
The Cabbie dance and all this stuff.
Then if you want to join us, do you? It's gone all our way. Can't even control myself, never mind anyone else, says Trisha. Kingfisher says, I wonder how much they're willing to increase the wages since we had one of the lowest. Trisha says, please like and subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you very much. Dortmund says, it's been a harsh year for us to go with Man United and Tottenham being our relegation competition because they're never going to go down. I mean, is he right? You're never ever going to see the likes of Spurs or a Man U getting relegated, Kev?
Nah, I don't think that would happen. Like, I mean, it's possible. It's as possible as Leicester winning the league a few years back there. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you're going to see them down there next season. Like, I think you could take 2 teams out of the league and put them maybe 13th, 14th, and then that below them will be what the bottom is, I think, next season. Your Evertons, your West Hams, Wolves. Who else was down there? Was Crystal Palace hovering down there and now? And I won the FA Cup, but...
No, Palace were all right.
We're all right.
They had a solid season. Similar standards to Bournemouth and Brentford. Palace, they did all right. Yeah, Dortmund says not unrealistic that West Ham could go down. Maureen says Wolves have lost a few of their good players. Steve Taylor says, who are we going to replace, Kev? That's if we did stay up. Tricia says, you pop up everywhere, Cabbie. It's threads you need next. John Nesbitt, good evening, John. He says, okay. Big CH needed left back as Circum will get murdered. A quality midfield, general right winger, and a quality striker to go with the lad. Here, 5 or 6 quality players needed, or it's going to be very, very hard indeed. Cabbie's going to be the new wee Philly. No, wee Philly's the king, man, Colin. He's the son and celebrity of the North East, man. Look, I mean, you look at the year Leicester City won the Premier League. I mean, you would have thought they would have gone from strength to strength to strength. Why haven't they? Why haven't they gone from strength to strength? I mean, yes,
it was a freak season, wasn't it?
I know.
And I think that team got picked apart a little bit. Yeah. When was that? Was that 16, 17? Or was it after that?
I'm not sure. If anybody puts on the chat, when did Leicester win the Premier League?
Was it a year were we in the league then? There's a question.
No. I think we were. I don't know what league we were in. How much do you get for winning the Premier League? Does anybody know? I know you get about £230 million for winning the playoff final at Wembley. I wonder how much you get for winning the Premier League.
I'm sure I heard it or read it about Liverpool. I want to see 190 million, but it might have been 119. I feel like it's 190 million.
Because they do say, like, you know, if you stay in the Premier League, you increase your chances from staying in the next season. But it doesn't seem to work that way, does it? I mean, it didn't happen with Sunderland. That they spent a few years in the Premier League. Therefore, we did play with fire on quite a few seasons on the trot, just scraping relegation. But how have Sunderland not managed to go from strength to strength to strength of all those years they were in the Premier League? Is it because the fact they were badly ran? Do you know what I'm saying? That we've been in the Premier League. Was it for 7 years on the bounce or so?
It might have been a little bit more than that, actually. I think it's a mixture of badly ran, not enough investment. And, you know, there was a point wasn't there a point in our first or second season back up there when Reedy was the manager?
Yeah.
And maybe like second or something at Christmas, something stupid like that. And everyone was like, now's the time to invest in the team. And they didn't quite do it. I don't think they had the ability to compete up there. You know, you look at your teams who were up there consistently year in, year out. They spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds just on transfer fees every year. Then they're paying £200,000, £300,000, £400,000 a week in wages to players. Until you're able to do that, you're not going to be up there. Like, goes for Newcastle, they're not at that point yet. I think Newcastle will struggle a little bit next season, just because of the amount of games that will play. Champions League games.
You know, Steve Taylor's just said,
you know, teams like Newcastle, they'll rest players in the Premier League because they've got a big Champions League game coming up. That's where I think teams like that kind of struggle, you know.
Without a shadow of a doubt, being in the Champions League massively hampers your Premier League status. It's, you know, it's of course it is, mentally and physically. But I mean, David Walker says we were in the Premier League for 10 seasons in a row. I mean, that's a lot of seasons, and you know, you would have thought, like, well, surely Sunderland should have been a well-established Premier League club for being in there for 10 years, but it just didn't happen, did it? I mean, what do you think Sunderland need to do right to sort of compete in there and be settled, like your Forests and your Bournemouths and your Brentfords, especially your Bournemouth and your Brentford? I mean, look at those two teams. I mean, I went to the Johnson Paint Trophy final to play at Brentford's v Carlisle, both in League Two. You know what I mean? So they've gone from League Two to a well-established Premier League side. It's the same with Bournemouth. So what are they doing right? What do we need to do? Is it about paying the wages? Is it about getting the good players in? Is it a combination of everything?
I compare us a lot to them two teams. You know, except our fan base is bigger than theirs. You know, like we have the opportunity, but they're run properly. You know, they invest well. They have good recruitment. I think that makes a big difference if the clubs run well. You know, that they tend to have people come through the ranks. A lot like what Southampton used to be like a few years back, didn't they? When they had Bale and all these people coming through all the time.
It's a strange one. But you reckon the reason why Sunderland screwed it up last time is because of the fact the way the club was just being ran from top to bottom?
Yeah, just wasting money. We wasted a lot of money on has-beens, ultimately. Like desperation, trying to sign players who were once really good, but maybe not so good anymore. Came to Sunderland for payday. I
mean, look at that squad we had when the night we beat Everton 3-0, and we relegated Norwich and the Mags in the same time of doing so. Sunderland were class. They played class that night, and Sam Allardyce. You know, I remember. Oh, who was it that scored the free kick for Sunderland to send us 1-0 up? And he ran straight to Big Sam and gave him a big cuddle. That shows you there was a good chemistry between the manager and the players. Who was it that scored Sunderland's first goal again? It was a free kick.
I want to say Rick Wallace, but I don't think it was.
No, I'm trying to think who he was. If anybody in the chat knows who scored Sunderland's first goal against Everton, it was a free kick. It wasn't the best of free kick, but like the keeper was sort of blind from the wall and he sort of stepped the wrong way, and then it went in.
I think being connected through. I think not signing too many players is a thing that you have to be able to do. You know, somebody said in the chat before, going out and getting 5 or 6 really good quality players, and then trying to keep the core that you've built is important. And if you can do that, you know, like get 5 or 6 players in this transfer window, 1 or 2 in the winter one at January, see where you need strengthening. Next summer, if you steer up, another 3 or 4 really good players, and do it that way. Forest did it the other way, didn't they? They went out and bought 20 players or something like that, and kind of just went sod it. Took a gamble, and it's kind of worked out for them. So, but I also wouldn't be surprised to see Forest battling relegation next season either.
Yeah, I know. It was like it's funny, isn't it? It's like a team reaches the peak, and then like because they did dip, didn't they? In the tail end of the season, they did their form sort of went downhill quite a lot. Yes, it was Patrick Van Aanholt. Thanks, David Walker and Richard. And Paul Stratton says, my final point, he says, you will realistically outperform Burnley. He says, if they try to win 1-0 every week, they'll be relegated by Christmas. He says, you need young quality and you will be fine. He says, signing players 30 plus, he says, will cost you. Yeah, too many of them possibly, yeah. I mean, but I think possibly Henderson, I think, would be okay for the dressing room and that bit of experience, even if we just get that one season out of him, eh?
Yeah.
What else are we? Ellis Dortmund says Ellis Short knew nothing about football and didn't put the right people in place. He had a Di Fanti as director of football, but he was an agent who signed his own players on massive contracts. I still think, you know, it massively didn't help, you know, when Sam went to the England job. Because I think that the players just lost interest. When I think they really all got on really well with Sam Allardyce. And I think if he'd have stayed on the season after, he hadn't gone to England, I don't think Sunderland will have been relegated, you know that, because the chemistry between the Sunderland players and Big Sam, they loved him. It was evident all over that pitch.
I think Sam Allardyce would have been good for Ellis Short as well. You know, somebody said Ellis Short didn't have a clue about football. I don't think he did. You know, he hated being the owner in the end, didn't he? He just hated it. And Sam Allardyce was good because he was a little bit dodgy, really. What we're now, he was a bit dodgy. He could get people to sign for him, who you would never think would play for the team that he managed. He got for Bolton and that.
Well, I still think if we'd if Big Sam had stayed, I do think Sunderland wouldn't have gone down the next season, because it was evident once he left. The players, it's like you've gone to a factory in your boss's class, and you love going into a shift when you really get on with your boss. It's more pleasurable to work, isn't it? You feel it's great. I've been there myself. When that manager goes, and you get somebody that you just didn't get on with, or it's not the same, you lose interest. And it was evidence on that. Yeah, it was. It was just evidence, wasn't it, with Davey Moyes? I don't know if you can hear the rain in my conservatory here, but it's absolutely lashing it down here. Going to have a quick little rundown. Where are we going? Yeah, so Sunderland have been reports in Ukraine claim that Sunderland are set to make a €20 million bid for Dynamo Kiev's highly rated striker Vladislav Vanat this summer. And there's a few Sunderland fans that said we need to stay away from Ukrainians. I think a lot of them are a bit paranoid about Rusin, but you can't tar Rusin with the same brush. It just didn't fit in.
I think from the outset he just looked a bit lost, didn't he? Rusin just looked like a rabbit in headlights every single time.
He's a good point. Michael Bowers has said, we signed Ross Stewart, Jack Clark and Joe Bellingham for a rough combined total of around about 4 million. We've sold them on roughly up to 60 million. Safe to say it's working. So the model is definitely working. It's a good point, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think we've got other people coming through. The production line is working. I think the production line is full. It's exciting, man. I think it's mint, me. It just feels like you ran properly and you have a chance, and there's a long-term plan, and everyone knows what the plan is, and everyone's on board. That's what it feels like.
Oh, it's without a shadow of a doubt, and it's just absolutely unreal. Yeah, and more news as well. R.I.P. to the former Premier League referee Yuri Rennie, who has died aged 65. That was in the news. He was the first Premier League's first black referee. He officiated more than 300 games between 1997 and 2008, including 175 Premier League matches. So thoughts with his family right now. Good referee as well. I remember him. He didn't take any.
Strong referee, wasn't he?
He didn't take any prisoners. Who
Nah,
care they were.
Stand up for your Vikings, your Vieiras, and all the likes of that.
The model for Sunderland. Speakman arrived in December 2020. SCFC average age 25.8. Squad value 13.9 million. Transfer spend January 2020 0. Finished 7th in League One. Transfer spend 2021 was 285k. The Sunderland average age was 25.3 with a squad value of 9.6 million. We finished 4th in League One. Transfer spend for season 21-22 was 200k. The average age then was 23.7 and the squad value of 25 million. Sunderland finished 5th League One and got promoted into the playoffs. And the 2022-23 transfer spend was 5 million and SCFC average age was just 23 with a squad value of 71 million. Finished 6th, lost to Luton Town in the playoff semi-final. Transfer spend 23-24 was a net 1.5 million loss. SCFC averaged age was 23.1, squad value was 81 million. and we finished 16th in the Championship. And transfer spend for 24-25 was a net profit of 5.2 million. The average age was 24.1, with a squad value of an impressive 165 million, and we finished 4th and got promoted. So there's a steady build there, like, isn't there?
Yeah. If that was any other business in the world, everyone would want that business.
I mean, he said a 5-year plan, and it's a 5-year plan, isn't it?
Yeah. Work down to the work perfect. That squad will be worth, by the start of the season, our squad will be worth 250 million.
Yeah, sounds mad saying that, doesn't it? Sunderland want Manchester City kid Charlie Gray to fill Joe Bellingham's boots. Talented midfielder Gray, 19, has a year left on his City contract and may look to move on for the chance on a first-team spot for the Premier League new boys. And there's a picture of him, and he looks about 12. I don't know if you've seen it.
He's very much like Riggy, isn't he? I mean, he's 19.
Looks like a young Liam.
Imagine Rig and him playing centre midfield. And they're running out of the Premier League. You've got Premier League midfielders, massive bloke. Looking at them two, thinking, this is going to be easy. And they run rings around them.
I don't know. It's...
But I'm not talking about him. He's 19. I don't believe he's played for the first team, which is a bit concerning, I would say, at 19-year-old. And that's Man City, but the good ones get a chance, don't they, by that age, I think.
Oh, I know that. I know. We were linked with another player beforehand as well. A big coloured player, 6'2". I cannot find where.
Is he from Monaco?
Hey?
Is he from Monaco?
There was one of them from Monaco, and I think there was another one. There's another one that played, currently plays for Millwall. Is it Tanganga or something?
Yeah. Tanganga, aye.
Aye. So...
he would actually be an interesting one, to be honest. I think his price is only 2 million.
Aye.
And he's played 50-plus Premier League games, I believe.
Catch on the chat before we head off. Yeah, Tricia says Big Sam should have stayed, really rated him. John Parr says we need to spend a bit more than 20 million on a striker, nearing to 30 million to have a chance. You get no one good for 20 million for the Premier League nowadays. Dortmund says, and the model gets even better in the Prem. Look at Siedo of Brighton, 100 million for one player. Dougie says, heard that a few weeks ago about the Ukrainian striker. Tricia says, thoughts are with the family for the referee, absolutely. Colin says, I think it was only one season, but Sam Allardyce played for us early in his career. He did. John also says, we're looking at Alex Monero as well for a second replacement, but Real Betis. But personally, I'd go for Ben Davies from Spurs. Peter Harvey says, we need a prolific striker who can score goals. We do not. Players who always get injured, I know, and it is a good point. Let's not forget it. We've gone promoted again, and we still haven't got a recognised striker. I mean,
we haven't. I mean, we do. I think I'm not unhappy with the strikers that we've got, but we do need to add like 20 goals.
Is Mienda a striker?
There could just be the bloke who scores 20 Premier League goals next season. I'm telling you,
Ooh.
The way he played maybe suits the Premier League a little bit more than the Championship, because he's very direct, isn't he?
Is he a striker, Mienda? I should know this.
What?
Is Mienda? Is he actually a striker? Is that his position?
Aye.
Thought he was. Aye. I know it's. I'm getting muddled up.
Other kids like Abdullah High, and he's only young, but from the strikers, we do need a striker, a proven 20-goal striker. but I'm excited to see Mayenda in the Premier League.
Well, the way
I never thought of that ever.
what I think's class to that with Mayenda is the fact, like, how we were all taking the mick out of him and say, "What's this clown doing? Look at the state of this." Now look at him now. I mean, the way he took that goal, that equaliser, we broke like a Premier League team, whether you like it or not. Bang, bang, bang. One touch in the box, he nearly took the roof of the net off. How'd you like them apples? Get in. Class it was.
I'm really excited to see him in the Premier League.
Yeah, Tricia says, I don't know if it's because I'm getting that old, but all of them look like they do. They're off the dinner break from school. Rennie, the referee, sent Shearer off. He's a good lad, isn't he? Dortmund says the academy players can be hit and miss. Burstow, Seal and he may have been crap, but Sirkin, Mundell and Mayenda have been great. Mayenda's an absolute machine. Well, that's 9 o'clock. That's on the dot. What's your plans tonight? Kev, you doing much?
Now, mate, resting. Like I say, I've been on a hike today, and I've never done like a proper hike for about a year. So I'm feeling a bit sore. So rest up and ready for work tomorrow.
Absolutely. And Davey, if you're watching, are you going to watch back? Hope you're well, bonny lads, and in good spirits. To all your family, and of course to Richie, who's in bed with his man mags when his man flu. Hope you recover well. So yeah.
Got tissues all over the floor, Richie. Have you?
Oh, it's his socks, I think. It's his old
nose.
It's his old socks. Like them sticky bombs off Save at Prime Ryan when you hoise them at the wall. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Kevin seems to have gone all right on Zoom. I'm pretty happy with that. No problems.
Aye.
So I'll keep in touch with you all week as we always do.
Aye.
So from Kev and myself, we'll say a good night, and there'll be videos every day because there's always rumours going on in the transfer window. So Kev, have a great night. Where you at your nana's, are you?
Yeah. No, I'm at home.
Oh, you're
I'll be back down there next weekend. It's Father's weekend, isn't it? Father's Day weekend next week.
Oh, it is. Aye. Just tell her not to say the swear words when she's on live.
Aye, well, that's impossible.
Kev, it's been a pleasure, mate, and everybody who's tuned in as well. Thank you very much. Sorry I didn't advertise it much. I've been so busy, but cheers for the 50 to 60 odd people tuning in. Do appreciate it.
Cheers, everyone.
Thanks,
See you next week.
Ta-ra, mate.